right, so next up we have Grand Theft Auto 4. This is the complete collection. So it has Grand Theft Auto 4, the base game, as well as Liberty episodes from Liberty City. So it has quite a bit of content in this one package here. And again, I also had this on the 360, but I actually ended up selling that as well, unfortunately. But it was nice to finally get it back in my collection here. And since I had a PS3, I thought, why not get it on the PS3? I also have this on the PC, by the way. So, I have multiple ways of playing it. But I do like, even though I like PC gaming, I do also like to have physical copies as well. It's kind of like a little collection keepsake sort of thing. And then we also have the PS3 edition of, or version rather, of Grand Theft Auto 5. As you guys know, I also have the PS4 edition. Again, what can I say? Great game. Very expansive as far as like the level and whatnot, and the missions, the characters. I like how there's three characters. They all kind of have their own play style. You have Trevor, who is the crazy dude. So like that's the problem with, especially with Grand Theft Auto 4. I thought was you know Nico didn't seem like a guy who would go around and go on a rampage. And as someone who likes to, I wouldn't say like I'm a huge role player, but I do like to do things like obey the traffic laws and whatnot, depending on the character. So when they introduced Trevor, Trevor is the type of guy who wouldn't do any of that. So when I was playing as him, I would just not care. Whereas when I was playing as Franklin or who's the other guy? Franklin. There's Trevor, Franklin, and Michael. When I play as either of those two, those are I play differently, and I thought that was a neat way of doing that. Because that was the main issue I thought a lot of people had with Breath of All 4 is that the character himself was not really portrayed in the way that would do something like that. So it seemed out of place that when you would run the pedestrian over or whatever, he kind of cracked jokes and whatnot. Whereas with Trevor, again, it's kind of like par for the course for him. Next up, we have the only Gran Turismo game I currently have, and this is Gran Turismo 5 on PS3. Obviously, this is the XL edition, so I think it has a bunch of DLC packaging with the game. I thought the Gran Turismo games, not to be fair, I only have 5. I actually played Gran Turismo right from the beginning on the PS1, and I always enjoyed the Gran Turismo series. It's just that I'm not a huge car guy, so therefore I didn't really get my kicks necessarily off of the customization and the tuning of cars and whatnot. I simply just wanted to get a car that I liked and race, and pretty much stuck to that one car. And but yeah, if you like these type of games, this is a good one to get. So next up we have Infamous. So this is the first game. There's also Infamous 2. And with this game, I thought it was a decent superhero game without like a popular license behind it, and I thought that was neat. And with Sucker Punch, they're a very talented studio. They did the Sly Cooper games, and so to see them go from that to this, I thought that was a really neat departure a little bit for them. But it ultimately paid off. So next up we have Killzone 2 and Killzone 3. And I also have Killzone HD collection, or HD remake or remaster, whatever it is you want to call it, on the PSN. I think I may actually swap these two for the trilogy set, and the reason is because they actually include the original Killzone HD on disc, so it'll be a good way to have it as a as a physical release. But yeah, I really enjoyed both of these. I will say I enjoy Killzone 2 a lot more than the third one, but both of these were really good. And I thought like the graphics, especially when Killzone 2 came out, it was phenomenal. Speaking about phenomenal, this is probably one of the best games on the PS3. We have Lair. And of course, I am being sarcastic. Uh, Now, with that being said, the main complaint people had with this game was that, besides obviously not being all that great, was mainly due to the the controls, because it really required you to do the motion control crap, the 6-axis stuff. And I didn't 6-axis never really worked all that well. However, they actually did patch this at some point. However, way too late, and by the time they did, no one really knew about it. And however, with that being said, it actually plays decently. I really enjoyed it. I liked the fact that you get to play as a dragon. I thought that was cool. However, a really great game that I think often gets overlooked, surprisingly considering it's a Rockstar game, is LA Noire, and it was a friggin' neat concept of a game where basically you're a detective and you basically go and interrogate witnesses and potential criminals and whatnot, and you would ask questions and you kind of like look at their face and see based on their expression of the face, maybe they're lying, maybe they're not. And I really enjoyed that. Now, with that being said, I didn't actually complete the game, and I think it is one of these days where I'm going to go back. Maybe I'll get this on the PC kit. I think it did come out on the PC. Maybe give it a second try there. But overall, I really did like the time I spent with the game. And it was just one of those cases where I had other things going on at the time and never really got to complete it. Another game I really liked is The Last of Us, and I also have it on the PS4, the remastered edition. However, with this game, I played this through, and right off the bat, man, it really hits you emotionally. Right off the bat, of course, like I'm not gonna spoil it, but people who play the game, they know what I'm talking about. And just the story of this, the gameplay, and you wouldn't believe it's a Naughty Dog game. Like that's the thing with this game. Like even with Uncharted, yes, it was a different type of game for Naughty Dog, but it still felt like a Naughty Dog game. Like it still felt like yes, this is somewhat of a evolution of like Crash to Jak to Uncharted. But with this game, this was completely out of the blue for a Naughty Dog game. Like this is a horror survival game with some action elements. Like it didn't really seem to fit in with Naughty Dog, and I'm surprised at how well it turned out. And speaking about Jak, we have Jak and Daxter collection here. And to be fair, I never actually completed the second and third game, so I probably should get on that. But yeah, these collections, I really love these because I didn't actually own a PlayStation 2. Well, rather, I did, but then I ended up selling it after getting the disc read errors. I had two systems that had the error, and I had it within like probably about a year or so. So finally, I gave up and I sold it, which I kind of regret doing that now, considering how many great games it had on that system. But regardless, thanks to these collections, I'm actually able now to finally play these things. Unfortunately, as much as I like physical releases, there's sometimes even a physical release won't matter in the whole scheme of things, and this is what is the case with Mag. I think the only thing you can play on this game is the quick tutorial mission on this game. The problem with this is that the server is down. So without the server, you can no longer play the game. So effectively, this disc that you see in this thing here is a coaster, which is unfortunate because I actually liked this game. It wasn't great, but I actually liked the way it played, and I would have loved to see them perhaps put a single player mode, maybe a place it with some bots. Obviously at a lower scale. You're not going to have hundreds of people on at one time or whatever, but like to have them do something as a patch would have been great. But unfortunately, they closed Zipper Studios, I think it was, or Zipper Games, and they were never able to actually do something like that. But see, that this is one of the problems with an all digital future in a lot of ways, is that like with a lot of these online only games such as Destiny and the Division, when the servers go down, the game goes down, and that $60 or whatever it is, or even more, depending on if you bought the season pass, that just goes poof, gone. And this is the case with Mag. So while it has a pretty box art and it has a nice disc and booklet and whatnot, effectively this is a useless game right now in my collection. A literally useless game. Next up, we have Max Payne 3. I really enjoyed the first two Max Paynes. I actually played those on the PC, and when I found out they were coming out with a Max Payne 3 and it was being developed by Rockstar, I'm like, hell yes, I gotta pick up this game. So I did right away, and they did not disappoint. It was a great game. I like the style. They changed Max up a little bit, made him bald, and I thought that was really really cool. And I also liked how they kind of did these flashbacks and stuff. So it had like that the old school Max Payne vibe, and then they kind of brought it into like a new era, I guess you can say. So next up, we have three Metal Gear games here. We have Metal Gear Solid the HD collection. So this includes Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and Peace Walker, which was the PSP title, which was really really cool. Like I said in the PS4 video, I basically kind of slagged off the Metal Gear series for a longest time, but got into it once I saw the Drew Scanlon doing the what they call it, Metal Gear Scanlon. That's what they called it. It was basically a let's play of all the Metal Gear games because Drew never played it, and it was really cool to see him play it for the first time and getting being amused by it and having some fun with it, that it got me into it. So I ended up buying all these games right away. I bought Metal Gear Solid 5 right off the bat. I pre-ordered that and then picked up all these when I could. And thankfully, because I waited much later, I was able to get these fairly cheap. So we got that. I ended up picking up Metal Gear Solid 4, which I like to call the best Blu-ray ever made, because there's a lot of cutscene in this game. Probably too much cutscene, but I understand that they wanted to kind of close up all the loose ends here. But yeah, it looked really great though, I will say that. And then Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance, and this is an action game. This is one that, like, even if you're not a big fan of Metal Gear, like, you could play this one and probably get some enjoyment out of it. And it is by Platinum Games, so those are the guys that made Bayonetta, and this one was a pretty good version of that kind of chaotic hack and slash sort of thing. Alright, so next up we have the only baseball game I have on the PS3. We have MLB 13 The Show, and this has Jose Bautista on the front here. As you'll know, with if you see like a lot of these physical releases for MLB games, when you buy them in Canada, you're pretty much stuck to getting the Blue Jays on your cover. So to be fair, most Canadians, I would say, probably like the Blue Jays. But if you're not a fan of the Blue Jays and you do live in Canada, then you're kind of out of luck, because I don't believe they don't really give you a reversible cover. No, but this is basically what the cover would look like if you're in the US. But yeah, I like all these MLB games. I think they're really good, really well made games. Next up, we have Modnation Racers. Really cool game. I really, I really enjoyed the fact that this was a kart racer on the PS3. Like, you don't see a lot of these type of games apart from like Mario on the Nintendo systems. So I'm all for more kart racers, and so I was really excited for this one. Now, with that being said, like, there's a lot of issues with the game. Mainly, it does have a bit of the floatiness, which, funny enough, Little Big Planet had, and these guys also end up making Little Big Planet racing. So it was basically Modnation Racers with Little Big Planet characters instead. And but overall, I mean, like, I still say it's a decent kart racer if you're looking for that sort of thing on the PlayStation. Then we have Mortal Kombat Complete Edition. This has multiple characters. I know Freddy Krueger is one of them. That's one of the reasons why I bought it. Really cool collection. This was kind of bringing Mortal Kombat back into the fray with a excellent title, and they've been hitting it out of the park ever since with the Mortal Kombat games and the Injustice games. Those are really really cool. Just everything since then has been really really great. Then I end up picking up these games here. These are Motorstorm and Pacific Rift. and I ended up picking up both of these used for a couple bucks. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but it wasn't much. And I just wanted to get them into the collection. And I'm like at this point where I think I got like pretty much all the PS3 games that I really really wanted. There are some exceptions that I'd like to add, but so I want to get into like maybe collecting some exclusives and whatnot. And I'm doing the same thing for a lot of my other consoles as well. So, but I really like the Motorstorm series, and it's too bad that the developers, whose name escapes me at the moment, I can't remember who they are. Evolution Studios. They're the guys that made Drive Club on the PS4. They are also closed down, so we probably won't be seeing any Motorstorm anytime soon on the PS4, which is too bad because these things were chaotic. They were cool though, and they were really good looking games, especially for the time. And there is another one. I think there's one more for the PS3, plus a digital one, which I'll probably get at some point. Then we have 3 NHL games. So we have NHL 12, and then we have 13, and finally we have 14 over here with Marty Brodeur on the cover. As you guys know, I'm a huge hockey fan, so I pretty much collect everything hockey. And as you guys also know, people who are longtime fans, the channel originally started posting NHL videos, and we kind of expanded beyond that. And now Buyaka is the one that's kind of taken the mantle when it comes to NHL games, NHL videos or whatever. Of these, I actually really liked NHL 14. I thought it was a nice accumulation, I should say, of what NHL 12 did and what NHL 13, and kind of combined the two. And I really liked the fighting in 14 actually.